What if you were as loyal as you are beautiful? Would the sky still hold its patience, or would the stars fall in shame? Forever believing beauty could stay true? I have seen your eyes, oceans pretending to be kind, waves that smile, but drown the sailor within. Your lips spoke verses dipped in honey, yet behind them lay the taste of betrayal. How cruel it is to adore a rose that hides 1,000 thorns under her perfume. I reach to hold you with my heart, and you cut it softly with your silence. The night remembers every sigh I gave you, every poem I buried under your name. I wrote loyalty in golden ink, but you returned it sealed with lies. You were beautiful, too beautiful to belong to truth. And yet, my soul refused to see the cracks, because love makes fools of kings, and kings of beggars who believe in promises. I wonder now, what if your loyalty matched your charm? Would I still sit alone under this trembling moon, writing poems to the ghost of what you could have been, instead of mourning the truth of what you are? You walked like dawn breaking upon desert sands. Your scent was softer than prayer. Your laughter echoed like pearls on silk, and every glance was a sunrise I worshipped. But what is beauty without loyalty? A palace without doors, a song without a heart, a mirror that flatters but deceives. I gave you everything, my name, my time, my soul. I let my words carry you like wings. I let my nights kneel before your image, and still you turned to another sun. The horses knew I was broken. They refused to run as before. They felt the absence of your name in every gallop of my veins. Even Dubai's wind whispered your betrayal, carrying your laughter through my loneliness. The falcons did not fly that morning, as if the sky itself mourned loyalty's death. I kept asking the same question. What if beauty were a promise kept? Would you have stayed when love grew quiet, or would your heart still chase the echo of attention? My poems were your shelter. My silence was your protection. My forgiveness your kingdom, and still you betrayed the crown. You told me love should be free, but I never knew you meant faithless. You said hearts must wander, but yours wandered too far to return. There were days I saw you as my destiny, and nights I feared you were my punishment, because every beauty that lacks loyalty becomes a curse wrapped in a dream. The sea keeps your reflection, but not your soul. The wind keeps your perfume, but not your truth. If only loyalty could be painted like lips, maybe then you'd have worn it proudly. But you chose mirrors over meaning, and love became your performance. I watched your promises melt like snow in sunlight, each word leaving puddles of disappointment. You said forever, I believed it. You said mine, I engraved it. But forever ended before the echo died, and mine became someone else's sigh. My heart is loyal even in ruin, still defending you against reason. Because loyalty, to me, was not a condition, it was worship. I remember your touch like prayer beads, each one reminding me how faith feels before it's tested by temptation. And you were temptation wearing devotion's mask. They said, she is beautiful. I said, she is my universe. They said, be careful. I said, love conquers fear. But love did not conquer your disloyalty. It only conquered me. Now when I see beauty, I look away, because I have learned that not all stars guide. Some burn, some destroy, some leave ashes where gardens used to bloom. You were the storm disguised as calm, the poison inside the sweetest cup. I drank you with trust, and woke to find my heart abandoned. What if you were as loyal as you are beautiful? Would I still write this in pain, or would I be writing vows under moonlight, instead of confessions under tears? The palace is quiet tonight. Even the guards do not speak. The candle trembles as if it knows that beauty betrayed its own reflection. Your photo still rests on the shelf, a queen without a crown, a story without truth, a love without loyalty. I should have known. Loyalty cannot be taught to eyes that only admire themselves in the mirror. And beauty without loyalty is like a bird without wings, lovely but trapped by vanity. I remember the first time you smiled. Felt like fate, not coincidence. Now I know it was illusion dressed as fate, because real fate stays. Illusions fade when the wind changes. Still, I do not curse you. I thank you for the lesson, that love without loyalty is poetry written on sand. I walk alone now beneath the royal moon, with no one but silence for company. Yet even silence feels more honest than the music of your voice. If only you knew how deep I loved, how much I prayed for your name, how many nights I whispered your beauty to God, begging him to make it true inside. But beauty was your gift, not your grace. And grace without loyalty is like perfume on ashes. Now my tears have turned to pearls of memory, each one holding a lesson, that loyalty is rarer than beauty and more precious than diamonds. The desert listens to my confession. It understands what humans forget, that love built on loyalty outlives time, but love built on appearance dies with admiration. So, I ask again beneath the endless sky, what if you were as loyal as you are beautiful? Would I still write your name in pain, or would I sing it in peace? You will never know, because you chose to be adored, not remembered with honor. You chose mirrors, not souls. And beauty fades, but betrayal echoes forever. The dawn returned without your voice, but still I heard it in the wind, a faint echo of what used to be ours, now belonging to silence alone. The palace corridors whisper your name, but not with affection, with memory. They have learned, as I have, that beauty cannot guard a promise. Every flower in the royal garden bends toward your ghost, as if asking where your heart has gone. But I know it wandered toward easier warmth, leaving me with the cold truth of loyalty's absence. You once swore to stay through every storm, yet the first cloud sent you fleeing. I stood beneath the thunder, waiting, believing the lightning would bring you back. How foolish the faithful heart becomes when it loves someone faithless. How noble it remains, even when broken beyond repair. I still see your shadow in the dunes, a mirage that dances when I am weak. It reminds me that even illusions can look divine when we are thirsty for love. You were my muse, my reason to breathe, my poetry's pulse, my spirit's rhythm. But what is poetry worth if the muse turns her back on truth? You could have been my forever, my calm within the crown's burden. But loyalty is the foundation of forever, and yours was built on sand. When I close my eyes, I see your beauty, but when I open them I see the wound it left. Because beauty without loyalty is just a mirage in the heart's desert. I wanted to believe you loved me for me, not for the name that moves nations, not for the throne beneath my sighs, but for the man who wrote under candlelight. I wanted your hand to stay when applause faded, but you only held mine when lights were bright. You loved the crown, not the heart beneath it. You loved the story, not the soul who lived it. What if you were as loyal as you are beautiful? Then love would not have become a battlefield, where only silence survives, and truth bleeds quietly into night. Sometimes I imagine another version of you, one who stayed when the world grew quiet, who looked at me with faith instead of pride, who saw my heart, not my power. In that dream we are unbreakable. The sea cannot steal you, the wind cannot tempt you, and beauty serves loyalty, not vanity. But dreams are cruel comforts. They give us what we lost, only to vanish with the sunrise. And sunrise no longer feels sacred to me. You took something eternal from me, not love but belief. The belief that beauty could be trusted, that hearts could match their words. I still write, but differently now. My pen no longer bleeds with longing. It bleeds with truth, raw, unpolished, fearless. And the truth is this: you were a masterpiece carved from deceit. Every smile was painted with purpose, every touch rehearsed like theater. Yet still I forgive you, not because you deserve it, but because I cannot let hatred live where love once built its palace. Forgiveness is my rebellion. It is how I remain royal, even when my heart is in ruins. Loyalty is my crown now, not love. I look at the stars and wonder, do they forgive the night for hiding them? Do they still shine despite the darkness? Then so must I. You will hear of me, in poems sung by winds, in eyes of those who still believe that loyalty is the purest form of love. You will remember me when you see real devotion in another's gaze, when you feel what truth sounds like, and realize you once held it, but traded it for glitter. You will try to find the loyalty you lost, but it will never look at you the same way again. For once love knows betrayal, it becomes cautious, distant, divine. I wish you had stayed long enough to learn how loyalty glows, not loudly, but deeply, like the desert's heart under the sun. The falcons have returned to flight. They no longer wait for your hand. They rise freely into the horizon, carrying the lesson of your absence. The horses run again through dawn, their hooves echoing forgiveness, their breath painting truth in motion, that no wound lasts forever, and no betrayal dims honor. I still write your name sometimes, but not as prayer as closure, not as love as lesson, not as hope as history, because the soul grows wiser. When beauty betrays it, it learns to seek the heart behind the face, the loyalty behind the smile. You were beautiful, yes, undeniably so, but beauty without loyalty is like a melody without meaning, a flame without warmth, a life without integrity. If loyalty had been your mirror, you would have seen your truest reflection. But you chose glamour instead of grace, and lost what mirrors cannot show. I walk again through the garden, where roses bloom despite your ghost. They have learned to forgive the hands that once plucked them for deceit. The sea sings differently now, not of love, but of endurance. It reminds me that loyalty, like the tide, always returns if it's real. I am no longer broken, just transformed. The wound has become wisdom, the silence has become poetry, and the loss has become legacy. You were a chapter, not the book, a spark, not the sun, a visitor, not the home, and I finally see that clearly. So, I send this poem into the wind, as both farewell and forgiveness. May it find you wherever beauty still hides you, and remind you of what you lacked, not my love, but my loyalty. If you were as loyal as you are beautiful, the world would have envied our eternity. But you chose to be admired, not adored, to be desired, not remembered. And now, I live not with sorrow, but with a truth carved in gold, that loyalty is the most exquisite beauty of all, and only hearts that stay are worthy of poetry. So tonight, beneath the royal moon, I whisper your name not in longing, but in release, because I have learned, loyalty is not found, it is proven. And if you were as loyal as you are beautiful, you would still be here, not as a memory, but as my forever.